Hello and welcome to the news on the hour on CoreTV News Lagos. A federal high court in Abuja has struck out petitions filed by parties at the inconclusive 2015 governorship election in Kogi State. Justice Gabriel Kolawole declined jurisdiction to grant the prayer sought by all parties. He affirms the supplementary election slated for tomorrow, Saturday, the 5th of December 2015, should go on as scheduled. We'll be bringing you more comprehensive details in our subsequent bulletin. And no cause for alarm over the burnt office of the Independent National Electoral Commission office in Dekina local government area in Kogi State. So says the resident INEC commissioner for Kogi State, Hussaini Halilu Pai, in a statement he issued in Lokoja over the burning of the INEC office. The commissioner admits that the arson carried out by hoodlums last night did not affect sensitive materials meant for tomorrow's supplementary election in 91 polling units. Halilu Pai says that sensitive materials like the card readers are intact and that no life was lost. The State Resident Electoral Commissioner in the statement also states that INEC's area office in Dekina has been moved to the police station to enable voters to exercise their right. The supplementary elections will hold tomorrow, Saturday, December 5th, 2015. The Independent National Electoral Commissioner in Kogi State says all is set for the Saturday supplementary election. The resident electoral commissioner, Halilu Pai, says necessary logistics have been put in place to ensure the smooth conduct of the election in the 91 polling units where the supplementary election is to hold. According to him, distribution of the materials to be used for the election, particularly in all the voting points in the affected 18 council areas, have been at the various local government for onward distribution to the polling units.
We have received the sensitive materials from the central bank and have shared it to the 18 local government electoral officers on the election day, which is Saturday, 5th of this month. From the local government office, these materials and the personnel and the security also taken to the various polling units. We have 91 polling units spread across 18 local governments. So we have 3 local governments that are really not affected at all by this supplementary election. The beauty of democracy, some group of people feel that what INEC has done is not appropriate, and myself and the commissioner explained to them why we arrived at that. It's an issue of law. We are created by the law of the land, and we have Electoral Act and the guidelines that guides the conduct of election.
Ahead of the governorship elections in Bayelsa and Kogi states, the National Orientation Agency has called on eligible voters to come out en masse to exercise their franchise and ensure the sustenance of democracy in Nigeria. Director General of the agency, Mike Omeri, said in a press statement that it was time for Nigerians to exercise their civic rights and responsibility by electing leaders of their choice. He also disclosed that several measures have been put in place to ensure security of citizens before, during, and after the elections. FCT Minister Mohammed Bello has described the Abuja Rail Mass Transit as one of the priority projects of the present FCT administration. The minister said this when he visited the project sites at the airport, Wupa, Idu, and Ring Road 2 stations. In the course of a familiarization tour of projects and facilities in the Federal Capital Territory, Bello assured Abuja residents that he would do everything possible to fast-track the completion of the project, considering the relief it will bring to the commuters in and around the capital city. He also noted that the FCT administration would support any project that would go a long way in reducing traffic congestion in Abuja. The minister expressed satisfaction with the quality of the job done so far, but also wants the contractors to double their efforts in delivering the job on schedule. The chairman of the Presidential Implementation Committee on Marine Safety under the Jonathan administration is in the custody of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. EFCC operatives arrested retired Air Vice Marshal Saliu Atawode over what a source at the commission describes as a case of conspiracy, abuse of office, and misappropriation of public funds. He was said to have abused his position as chairman of the Presidential Implementation Committee on Marine Safety to defraud the Nigerian government of over 600 million naira through dubious contract to procure military boats. The contract was said to have been awarded to Hypertech Nigeria Limited, believed to be owned by one Alhaji Rabiu, but not a single boat was supplied in spite of receiving full payment. AVM Atawode was interrogated by a team of investigators after he showed up in response to invitation. When contacted, the FCC spokesman Wilson Wajaren confirmed Atawode's presence at the commission, as well as the fact that he is assisting investigations into dubious contracts. The police are seeking a new funding mechanism for their operations, and Inspector General Solomon Arase said this when he received the Minister of Interior Abdul Rahman Dambazo at the force headquarters in Abuja. The minister, on his part, urged the police to be more professional in their approach in carrying out their duties. Our correspondent, Abiola Oluwole, has details.
The visit, according to Dambazao, is to acquaint himself with the needs of the police. The chairman of the Police Service Commission, Michael Kiro, was also part of the familiarization visit. Being a critical unit of the internal security, the Internal Affairs Minister says the federal government will prioritize training and welfare of officers and men of the police. He also tasked the force to work at changing public perception about the police by being more professional in their conduct.
If we change the perception, what we end up doing is to give confidence and trust to the public. Robert Peel, the father of modern policing, he said, the public is police, the police is public. And we should stick to that. We should let the public understand that we are here to protect them. We are here to ensure public safety and security.
The minister expressed his conviction that the presence of top echelon of the police at the meeting will ensure that his message reaches the rank and file. It also provided IGRC the opportunity to push for a review of existing police funding mechanism. This success is key to achieving more success for the police.
For the nation to attain the police of our dreams, there is the need to review the funding mechanism. It is only through this that all ills attributed to the force can be addressed and performance gap closed in our policing system.
Nigerians will be waiting to see how far the focus of the current administration on economy, security, and employment go in adding value to the policing across the country. From the police headquarters in Abuja, Abiola Oluwole, CoreTV News.
Over the years, insecurity issues have heightened fears among the populace of Nigeria, with Boko Haram topping the list as the major form of insurgency in the country. This, however, has become a burning concern to Nigerians as kidnapping, armed robbery and election violence are now causing concerns amongst Nigerians. These concerns took center stage in our breakfast show, Core Digest, and correspondent Sulia Tojo looks at the issues raised.
The problem of insecurity in Nigeria is getting louder and louder with the incident of kidnapping, armed banditry, Boko Haram insurgency, and most recently, the violent protest by the Movement for the Actualization of the Sovereign State of Biafra, MASOB, and the Independent People of Biafra, IPOB. These concern of the state of insecurity in Nigeria forms the fulcrum on Core TV News breakfast program, Core Digest.
over the years, the generation continued up until where we are now, that you now see people coming out, like the show of shame that Maureen Oga did during the election. She became the spokesperson for PDP, whereas it was supposed to be a secret police. All of those things helped in no small measure to bring down the effectiveness of intelligence in our security system.
Yeah, I wouldn't see it as being a training issue or a training problem. I want to see it from the applicability of what you are trained to do. How are you applying it within your own system? Okay, and more so when here you are, irrespective of what you have been trained to do, there is a master somewhere, the political master, so to speak, who is dictating to you what is to be done, and you are refusing to be professional. I think that is where the issue comes in, because some of them are trained abroad.
Some contributors also express worries over the state of national insecurity, asking that more needs to be done.
I think the governor is done a good job, but he has still have more to do. About the referral issue, to my only suggestion, I think that the government should give them kinds of dialogue. So dialogue first before any other thing.
The present administration, no doubt, has an uphill task in its hand to solve the prevailing insecurity situation. The donation of security equipment by the Lagos government to the police is one of several ways to check this fostering menace.
What I want to see is that let's treat that government adopt this 2014 national conference, so that every this issue is dialogue. Because without that, this agitation of is not solved. Thank you, and I want one Nigeria.
We'll take a short break now, and when the news returns, former secretary to the government of the Federation denies sponsoring the Southeast protest by Masob and iPod youth. Join us again.
This is what the people are saying.
You don't run a big economy with generator. They need to do more in terms of energy and power.
Many things to do for this Nigeria about lights, water, and new TT.
For Nigerians that are not gullible, we know that good laws have done nothing good for this country.
Buhari won the election convincingly.
Talk to your husband that you should keep promise about what you said, and because people are watching you, you know, another election is coming.
Also, some people will stand for Yoruba land, will be strong man. You don't die.
This nation is moving forward. The best is going to take place.
The people giving voice to the voiceless.
Welcome back, and for more on our news and other stories, visit our social media platforms on facebook.com/CoreTV News and on our Twitter page at CoreTV News NG, and of course on youtube.com/CoreTV, and leave a space, then news. A former secretary to the government of the Federation, Ayim Pius Ayim, has denied claims by an online medium, Sahara Reporters, that he is behind the ongoing pro-Biafra protest in the southeast. The online medium made the claim in a tweet, but Ayim maintained in a statement released by his media aide Sam Nwabasi that he has no hand in the agitations. He insisted that the one-time Senate president is not sponsored and will never sponsor any protest by any group against the government. Ayim's media aide also notes that his principal is not under any investigation for any such allegation. The Senate is set to confront social media operators, which it claims have been peddling false information on public office holders. It says appropriate measures will be used to curb their excesses. This follows a point of order raised by Senator Dino Melaye, Kogi West, on the modus operandi of social media in Nigeria. According to him, some online platforms have been writing false stories with the aim of undermining the Senate. National Assembly correspondent Basiaye reports his submission was referred to the Committees on Ethics, Privileges and Public Petitions and 2 others for action. The report. The sales of the Nigerian Telecommunications Limited, NITEL, and its mobile arm, MTEL, on Thursday took center stage in the House of Representatives. A motion moved by Representative Henry Nwawuba sought the permission of the House to investigate the terms of the sale and the use of the proceeds. Jamila Febua of Abuja Bureau has more in this report.
Members were concerned that since the sale and subsequent takeover of the companies by NATCOM, lots of controversies have risen about the proceeds leading up to the sale. Of particular note is the alleged undervaluation of the companies prior to the sales.
A lot of controversies have been raised about the processes leading to the sale, particularly about the alleged undervaluation of their companies prior to sale. Aware of the huge revenue potential of communications, especially with Nigeria's huge population of about 170 million, and also its capacity to generate employment for the teeming unemployed population.
Disheartened about the sales of the 2 organizations, Minority Leader Leo Ogo expressed disappointment at the mismanagement of NITEL and the intended capital flight the situation has created.
Where we need to call a spade is to look at how it all started. It started clearly from the privatization policies of our country, where square pegs were refused to be put in square holes. A scenario or a situation where the Bureau for Public Procurement must come into this investigation to see how we were able to squander that great investment that has facility all over the country. Every nook and cranny of this great nation had access to NITEL.
The telecom sector in Nigeria was described as too vital to Nigeria's economy by Representative Aminu Shagari, who drew comparison with what major networks are currently making, while others are concerned that the telecom outfit still use NITEL's facilities.
What I want to say here is that Mr. President, President Muhammad Buhari also shares our concern on this very issue. Because I recall that the permanent secretary to the ministry, Mr. Tunji Olaupa, while briefing the press, said that Mr. President has asked that a memo be submitted directly to him on how the process of this privatization was done, because he was afraid that Nigeria might have been shortchanged in this process. So it is very important that we also carry out our own investigation as to how this privatization was done.
Security issues also came up as members felt Nigeria will be safer without external telecom influences. They insist that the House has to thoroughly investigate the matter.
I believe that it is important that at the end of the day that to drive home the point that this country is not a banana republic, that should be revoked. Because as far as we are concerned, there is something that is inimical about the sale of NITEL. I mean, if people are talking about asset stripping, then it's something that we have to look seriously into it.
In view with this, Mr. Speaker, I submit in totality that this motion should be passed unanimously by this Honorable House, and this investigation should go thorough, and the report brought back to this Honorable House.
NITEL and MTEL were sold to a consortium, NATCOM, in December of 2014 at the cost of $242.3 million. Jamil Afegwa, CoreTV News, Abuja.
And head of the Nigerian Customs Service, retired Colonel Hamid Ibrahim Ali, by the directives of the President, has taken over the service of the Controller General. Hamid, who has been on tour around the country from one command to another, was in Owerri Zone C Command, where he made known to the men and women of the service how he intends to lead them. IMO correspondent was there and he filed this report.
The new NCS boss, on his arrival at the Owerri Zone C command, was welcomed with an outstanding salute by the guards of honor.
Guard! Guard! Son!
Meeting senior officers one after the other was another point of call for the Controller General. Having observed all the formalities, he proceeded to address men and women of the command of what is expected of them.
And we must correct. We must correct. This change that the president has gone around to say, and you all agreed and voted, is true, it's real. It's real, because that's why I'm here. Otherwise, why should a retired military officer be at the helm of affairs of the country? But it is because of that change. We need to start a new leaf. We need to start a new life. We need to embrace honesty in our dealings. We need to create a system that is viable, that everybody will see it as his own friend and as his own system. We do not need a customs service that is corrupt. We do not need a customs service that cannot deliver.
Colonel Hamid further reiterated that it is not going to be business as usual. He affirms that the command under his watch is going to be tough on lazy and indisciplined persons.
We would have the guts to go to Mr. President and ask for a better condition of service. But if we don't, if things go down and we cannot meet even our target, my target is that we should surpass our target. That is when we have the confidence, myself and the management, to be able to go to Mr. President and say, our men are working very hard. They have imbibed your change mantra, and therefore we also deserve some good charity from the government.
He also warns strongly against drug abuse among officers of the services. Lateness to work and corrupt practices will no longer be allowed. While inspecting the warehouse full of contraband goods and impounded cars and several containers fully loaded, the Controller General thanked the command for a job well done. He, however, urged them to do more in ensuring they don't just meet the given targets, but surpass it, and with this, better package awaits them all.
Residents of Kofa Doka in Zaria want the Kaduna State government to temper justice with mercy over plans to demolish 300 houses marked for that exercise. The protesters, who were mostly women and children, wept in the course of the protest. Amina Nabi has more of this report presented from our studios.
Children whose homes have been marked for demolition. They are in tears as they made a case for the Kaduna State government to put its plans on hold. The protesters say their pains and poverty are about to be aggravated if the government goes ahead with the planned demolition. They say they have voted for change, not demolition.
We are here to fight for our rights. The state government is not giving us a fair hearing. We have met with the government and they promised that they are going to meet with us and resolve this problem amicably. But to our greatest surprise, they went behind us in spite of the agreement we had with the Secretary of the State Government, with whom we met and had a meeting, and promised that he's going to call us back to feed us with what the resolution of the committee is. But unfortunately, on the 26th of November 2015, staff of the Kasubda stormed our area with their armed policemen, and started marking our houses and issued us letter of notice of demolition. just 21 days. This is totally unacceptable to us. That is not what we are the ones who voted this government in. Therefore, what we want is change and not demolition. Change is what we want and not demolition. We voted the government because of the change agenda, but this government is derailing from the change agenda and heading towards agenda of demolition, which is not totally unacceptable to us in Zaria. We are the people from behind library and fire brigade. We are not going to accept that. They are planning to destroy or demolish over 300 houses. Those houses belong to poor masses. You can look at, you can see the all of us here. We are all masses. We are here ourselves, our wives, and our children. They didn't go to school today. They didn't go to school today, and they will not continue going to school until this problem is resolved. That is our stand. We are going to take several actions. We are going to take several actions because what we want is for the government to give us a fair hearing. Fair hearing is what we want. If they don't listen to us, we have several options. One of the options that is feasible, that which we can say here, is the fact that we will consult our legal practitioners, and they'll tell us what we do. They'll give us advice on what the next line of action is going to be. But other options we are not going to mention here.
Madina Ahmed was in tears as she pleaded for mercy. She says she will be homeless if the exercise is carried out.
We are all here. We all here. We didn't have any, maybe senator or any big person. We all are masses. We are masses. Look at us, like Almajiri people. Look at us. Even though some people, after acquiring that land, they didn't have what to eat. Some are on loan. They haven't finished paying their money in the bank. We didn't have anything that we can do. Even though the governor go ahead and demolish our houses, we don't have anything to do. Everybody, even though on the main road, we will go and sleep because we didn't have where to go. If he agreed to pay us, we vacate.
There are others who lamented bitterly over the proposed government action.
Yes, we don't have any power to fight him, but we have God. The land does not belong to the government. Yes. We bought it, we buy the house, we buy and pay. We have our genuine papers with us. My call to him is to please allow us to stay in our house.
The state government has meanwhile insisted that there is no going back on plans to recover all land illegally acquired by individuals and organizations. But many of them say they have purchased the land with their money.
The Nigerian Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs has urged Islamic faithfuls and other Nigerian believers not to retaliate in any form of evil act. Our correspondent has details from Ilorin, the Kwara State capital.
The President General of Nigerian Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, Alhaji Muhammad Saad Abubakar, who was presented by the Secretary General for Islamic Affairs, Professor Isiaq Oloyede, has sued for peace and unity among Muslim faithfuls and Nigerians at large. Oloyede added that the unfortunate and unprovoked attacks on Muslim and the Central Mosque in Onitsha, Anambra State, are evil and not religious in any form. He urged Muslims not to go on reprisal attacks.
The Nigerian Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, under the leadership of the President General, the Sultan of Sokoto, Alhaji Muhammad Saad Abubakar, CFRMNI, notes with distress the unfortunate and unprovoked attack on Muslims and the Central Mosque of Onitsha, Anambra State, yesterday. The perpetrators of the dastardly acts, which culminated in the loss of lives and burning of trucks owned by a prominent Muslim businessman, only sought to provoke interreligious crisis and thereby get Nigeria further embroiled in needless bloodletting. Muslims must, as a matter of principle, resist the temptation of being drawn into retaliation. They should consider the perpetrators as criminals and not representative of any ethnic or religious group. They do not represent Christianity, neither do they represent the Igbo nation. They are people who committed crime and should be so treated.
Furthermore, he called on the federal government of Nigeria and all Muslims and Christians to resolve any grievances between them, abide by the rules that guide our country, and also not to cause chaos between religions.
We call on Muslim brothers and sisters not to embark on any reprisal attack on Christians or any other group and their places of worship in any part of Nigeria, we are already engaged in discussions with various security and relevant government agencies to forestall further aggravation of the situation. We also call on religious and interfaith organizations across the country to step up their peace-building initiatives in order to support the government and strengthen the enabling climate for peace and good relationships. We should not allow the current unfortunate development to negatively affect interfaith relationship, which we are still trying to build, between Muslims and Christians in this country, which is needed for the achievement of peace and development of our nation. In the same way, we want to appeal to various groups and organizations to always resort to the use of appropriate channels provided by the Constitution of this country, the law, and our democratic structure for resolving any grievances. Therefore, I urge all Muslims on behalf of the Nigerian Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs not to lend themselves to any reaction that will be negative as a result of what had happened in Onitsha.
The gathering was charged to tour the path of peace at all times and never allow evil overtake their sense of judgment.
Persons living with disabilities are demanding the passage and full implementation of the Nigerian Disability Bill. They made a call at an event to mark this year's International Day of Disabled Persons in Abuja. Our correspondent Emmanuel Onu was there for CoreTV News, and the report is taken from our studios.
The World Health Organization estimates that 15% of the world's population has one form of disability. Statistics show that 26.5 million Nigerians are living with disabilities, with more than 80% of them suffering neglect due to their plight. This gave rise to the Nigerian Disability Bill, which many believe will secure and protect the rights of Nigerians living with disability, but they are concerned about the non-passage of the bill.
People with disability are a natural part of any community, and they are entitled to whatever rights anybody has. Everyone has got some level of potentials. That the exclusion that people with disability suffered is because they experience some levels of barriers in the society, and that if those barriers are removed, people with disability will be able to participate effectively and contribute their quota to any national development. So basically, it's about addressing the barriers that we face as people with disabilities.
Minister of Women Affairs and Social Development, Jumai Alhassan, expressed government's readiness to ensure the passage of the bill. She was represented by the Director of Rehabilitation in their ministry.
Any person with disability that you do not create space for today could constitute a problem tomorrow. It's cheaper to integrate persons with disabilities because in future they'll be taxpayers. But when you leave them out, they'll continue to depend on their relatives and on society, and that is why you continue to see people on the street begging for alms and begging for livelihood.
Some of the disabled persons thrilled the guests with their music skills. The theme of this year's International Day of Persons with Disability is Inclusion Matters, Access and Empowerment for People of All Abilities.
Disability bill should be passed indeed by the National Assembly to alleviate the plight of Nigerians living with disability. And when we return in part 3 after the break, 2 Palestinians shot dead after attacking an Israeli soldier in troubled West Bank.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime Days.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then News. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
You're welcome back. And now some foreign stories. 2 Palestinians stabbed and wounded an Israeli soldier in the Flashpoint West Bank city of Hebron before they were shot dead by soldiers. The incident comes after a recent spate of violence in Israel and the occupied Palestinian territories following Israeli incursions into the Al-Aqsa Mosque compound since October 1st. A total of 110 Palestinians have been killed, along with 21 Israelis and an American and Eritrean. Germany's lawmakers have approved plan by Chancellor Angela Merkel to join the military mission in Syria aimed at defeating the Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant, ISIL. Germany will send 6 Tornado reconnaissance jets and a refueling aircraft to back up the international anti-ISIL coalition, but its military will not conduct airstrikes. Parliament voted for the mandate by an overwhelming majority of 445 votes in favor and 146 against. 7 lawmakers abstained. The year-long mission will cost $142 million and would involve the deployment of up to 1,200 military personnel, as well as a frigate to support the French aircraft carrier Charles de Gaulle, which Paris has dispatched to the region. Acceleration on the international coalition campaign against ISIL is in the wake of last month's deadly terrorist attacks in Paris, where the group claimed responsibility for the massacre in which 130 persons were killed. And finally, on sports, Tiger Woods, a 14-time major champion, has sunk to world's number 400 after a litany of injuries and poor form saw him tumble down the rankings. The 39-year-old was in a particularly bleak mood earlier on this week as he revealed his physical condition is so bad after another back operation that he can't even bend down to pick up a ball. Woods won his last major title at the US Open in 2008, but hasn't had a significant victory since lifting the Bridgestone International in 2013. He has previously suffered a serious knee ligament injury, but his back problem is proving particularly difficult psychologically. What a pity. One of world's greats there, sports world's greats there. But let's just hope he bounces back again in good health. That's our bulletin on the hour. Join us again at 6 p.m. for headlines and at 7 p.m. for The Reporter. See you then.